T was the third body in 11 days, and this one had its throat torn out like the others, clean, almost surgical, and completely devoid of blood. I stood in the alleyway, soaked from the relentless drizzle, cigarette burning between my fingers, as if that small flame could illuminate something the street lamps wouldn't. The victim was a woman in her mid-30s, pale from exsanguination, eyes frozen wide in terror. My badge read Detective Marina Reyes, but lately, it felt more like a name tag for a ghost chasing shadows. I'd seen brutal before, but this was something else. No footprints, no drag marks, no signs of a struggle. Just gone. Like they'd been offered, not taken. The precinct whispered theories in the break room, half joking about vampires, cults, or ritualistic killers, but I saw the pattern before anyone else. The wounds weren't just similar, they were identical. Same angle, same depth, same eerie precision. No human did this. Not alone. I didn't believe in monsters. Until that week. The rain turned heavier, washing away whatever trace the killer might have left, so I took one last look and walked away, unaware that someone was watching me from the shadows. Later that night, in the morgue, the forensic pathologist, Dr. Elias, frowned at the reports. "Marina, there's no blood in the body. None. Not even in the tissues. Like it was drained at the cellular level." I said nothing, just stared at the pale corpse under the sterile light. I didn't say what I was thinking, that the puncture wounds didn't look like knife wounds. They looked like bites. I couldn't sleep that night. Something buzzed beneath my skin, a sixth sense screaming. I reviewed the victims, 3 women, all brunettes, all lived alone, all taken near the downtown district between midnight and 3 a.m. It was too clean, too calculated. It wasn't frenzy. It was selection. The next evening, I returned to the scene. Alone. I needed to see it again in the dark. That's when I saw her. She stood at the edge of the alley, dressed in a long black coat, dark hair pinned back, a glass of red wine in one hand like she was at an art gallery instead of a crime scene. Her beauty was disarming, sharp cheekbones, crimson lips, eyes that gleamed violet under the dim light. "It's dangerous out here for a woman alone," she said, voice velvet smooth. I raised my badge. "Good thing I'm not just any woman." She tilted her head, amused. "Detective Marina Reyes. I've heard of you." That stopped me. "You make a habit of hanging around murder scenes?" "Only when the killer has good taste," she said, eyes flicking to the bloodstains still damp on the brick wall. She sipped her wine without flinching. I should have walked away. Called it in. Something about her was off. Too calm, too poised, too aware. But instead I said, "Do you know anything about what happened here?" She smiled slowly, as if I'd asked the wrong question. "Do you believe in monsters, detective?" My chest tightened. "I believe in people who do monstrous things." "How disappointing," she said, turning to leave. "Maybe I'll change your mind." "Wait, what's your name?" She paused, then glanced over her shoulder. "Violet." And just like that, she vanished into the night, like a shadow dissolving with the wind. I didn't follow her. I should have. But something told me that Violet wasn't done with me. And I wasn't done with her. That night, I dreamed of eyes like hers, violet, luminous, ancient, and woke with a name on my lips I hadn't meant to whisper. I told myself it was just a hunch, that the woman in the alley was nothing more than an eccentric stranger drawn to danger. But I couldn't stop thinking about her. Violet. The name clung to the corners of my mind like smoke, delicate, invasive, impossible to ignore. The way she'd spoken, the gleam in her eyes, the perfect stillness of her body, it wasn't normal. It was magnetic. The next morning, I ran a search through every database I had access to. No last name. No address. No driver's license, tax records, credit history, nothing. Violet didn't exist. But I found her picture. A photograph from 1992, grainy and yellowed, hidden in an archived case file from a homicide in the old district. A woman was murdered, drained of blood. Witnesses claimed they'd seen a gorgeous woman in black near the scene. The photo was labeled Unknown Female Witness. It was her. Same face. Same eyes. Not aged a day. Either it was her mother or something was very, very wrong. That night, I returned to the alley where we met, hoping to find her again, but it was empty, except for a white flower lying in the center of the bloodstain. A gardenia. I picked it up without thinking, fingers trembling. No note. Just scent and silence. Violet was toying with me. I should have been furious. Instead, I felt something else. Anticipation. I didn't tell the department. No one would have believed me. Instead, I went underground, called in favors, checked old crime scene files that mirrored ours. Bloodless bodies, no struggle, no signs of human cause. There were 9 cases. All women. All dating back decades. Each with a mysterious female figure seen near the scene. Each with a white flower left behind. Violet wasn't just part of this. She was the thread tying it together. Or so I thought. Then the 4th victim appeared. This one was different.
Male. Young.
Torn apart in the exact same way, but with a message scrawled in blood on the wall behind him. She's lying to you. The handwriting was jagged, frantic, not Violet's. It was a warning or a trap. I stood in the crime scene, staring at the message while the forensic team worked around me. The room felt colder than it should. Someone knew I was close. Someone wanted me scared. That night, I found Violet again. Or rather, she found me. I was walking home, alone, hand instinctively on the grip of my weapon, when I heard her voice behind me. You shouldn't walk the streets after dark, detective. I spun, heart leaping. She was leaning against the lamppost, that same unreadable smile on her lips. We need to talk, I said. So talk, she said, voice silk-wrapped steel. Who are you? I demanded. Why are you always near the victims? Her expression didn't change. Because I'm trying to stop it. Stop what? The real killer. And who the hell are you to know so much? I asked. She stepped forward, slow, graceful, like a panther that had no need to run. Because he was mine once. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. What do you mean, he was yours? Long story, she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. One I'll tell you if you promise not to run. Why would I run? Because once I tell you the truth, you'll never look at the world the same again. I stared at her, breath caught between fear and desire. Try me. Violet stepped close, so close I could feel her breath. It was warm, laced with something sweet, like wine and ash. Her fingers grazed mine. There are monsters in the city, Marina. Real ones. Not all of us feed. Not all of us kill. But he does. And he's getting bolder. Who is he? I whispered. Someone who's watched you. Someone who knows what you're starting to feel. And what am I feeling? Her smile deepened. Exactly what you're afraid to admit. She leaned in, her lips nearly brushing mine. You want to trust me, but you don't know if you should. I didn't move. Hint. Help me find him, I said. Then I'll decide what to believe. She nodded once. Tomorrow night. I'll show you something. Where? I'll find you. And just like before, she vanished into the dark, leaving only perfume and tension in the air. I stood there for a long time, hand still hovering near my gun, heart hammering for a reason that had nothing to do with fear. I should have felt hunted, but all I felt was hungry. The next night she came for me. I was alone in my apartment, pacing, thoughts tangled between obsession and instinct, when the lights flickered twice, then died. A soft knock echoed through the silence. I opened the door without hesitation, and there she was. Violet. No umbrella. No wet coat. Just her. Unbothered by the storm raging outside. Come with me, she said. Now. I didn't ask where. I grabbed my coat, my badge, and followed her into the night. She didn't speak as we walked, only glanced back occasionally to make sure I was still there. The rain didn't touch her. Her footsteps made no sound. She moved like a secret, unfolding only when she wanted to be seen. We reached a narrow staircase behind an abandoned building downtown, half buried under ivy and thyme. She led me down, 5 levels below ground, into a corridor lined with crumbling brick and the faint smell of smoke and rust. Then we entered a chamber, dimly lit by antique chandeliers, walls covered in faded tapestries, and books stacked high like towers of forgotten truths. "What is this place?" I asked, breath catching.
"A sanctuary," she said.
"For people like me." "And what exactly are you, Violet?" She turned to me then, slowly, eyes gleaming violet in the low light. "What you already suspect. Say it."
"No."
"You need to see it first." She walked to a far wall and slid aside a heavy iron gate. Behind it, a smaller room waited, stone walls, candles flickering on every surface, and in the center, a coffin. My heart stopped. "You sleep in that?" "I haven't slept in centuries," she said softly. "But he did. Until recently."
"He."
She stepped aside, and I saw the portraits on the walls. Paintings, old, beautiful, and haunting. Violet unchanged. And beside her, a man with eyes like coal and a smile that didn't reach them. His name was Adrian. He was mine once. Before I knew what he truly was. I thought I could love him. I thought I could save him. But he changed. He began feeding recklessly.
Killing.
And when I tried to stop him, she looked away.
He vanished.
Until now. You think he's the one behind the murders? I know it. He's leaving messages for me. Using your city as his playground because he knows I'm watching now. Because he knows I've found someone. She stopped. My breath caught. Someone you what? Her eyes met mine, storm and silk. Someone I want to protect. Even if I shouldn't. I stepped closer. Why me, Violet? Her voice dropped. Because you burn. And I haven't felt warmth in so long. The silence between us crackled. The danger, the draw, the impossibility of her, it all collided in that moment. You should be afraid of me, she whispered. I am, I said. But I'm more afraid of not knowing who you really are. Her fingers brushed my cheek. Cold, gentle, reverent. If you stay, she said, there's no turning back.
Good, I said.
I hate looking back. Her lips parted, not in surprise, but hunger. We stood there, breath against breath, the line between us thin as a thread.
She didn't kiss me.
Not yet. Instead, she turned and opened a drawer beneath the portraits, pulling out a thin file. The next victim, she said. I took it, flipped through the pages, and froze. It was a photo of someone I knew. Cassidy. My old partner. The only person who ever got close to me before I shut the world out. She's still alive, Violet said.
For now.
But Adrian's watching her. He knows she matters to you. My voice cracked. Why her? Because he wants you afraid. Unbalanced. Alone. He wants you desperate enough to run to me and hate me for it. I looked at Violet. And, do you want that? Her answer came slowly. No. I want you to choose me. Not because you have no one else, but because you see me. All of me. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't look away. Violet was more than dangerous. She was truth wrapped in temptation. And I was falling. Fast. Where is Cassidy now? I asked. We have to move. Violet's jaw tensed. Adrian's fast. But I'm faster. If you trust me, really trust me, I can get us there before he makes his move. I nodded. Let's go. Then take my hand, she said. I hesitated, staring at her pale fingers, knowing what it meant. I took it. The world blurred. Cold wind, sharp speed, and the sound of nothing. Just like falling. But not down. Into her. Cassidy lived on the east side, a quiet corner of the city that still held echoes of our shared past, late nights, hard cases, unspoken words. I hadn't seen her in months, but the idea of her blood on a wall snapped something loose inside me. Violet's grip on my hand was firm as we moved, not running, not walking, but gliding like the air bent around her will. Streetlights flickered as we passed. The city blurred at the edges, unreal, dreamlike. When we reached Cassidy's building, I didn't wait. I drew my gun, heart thundering, and kicked in the door. Silence. The apartment was dim, lamps off, blinds drawn, but nothing looked broken. Nothing looked wrong, which was exactly what was wrong. Violet stepped in behind me, her voice low and sharp. He's been here. Recently. I moved through the living room, past old photos, mementos of a friendship that had frayed but never torn completely. Cassidy. I called out, and my voice cracked in a way I hadn't expected. Then, from the back bedroom, a sound, a stifled breath, a small gasp. Love what you've seen so far, and want to help me keep creating these awesome stories on this channel? Then subscribe and hit the bell. Your subscription supports the channel and makes sure you get more exciting stories. I turned the corner and found her tied to a chair, conscious, mouth gagged, wide eyes locking on mine with relief and fear tangled together. I rushed to her, cutting the ropes, heart in my throat. You're okay. I've got you. She nodded, trembling, and behind me, Violet was already scanning the room. He's close, she said. He wanted you to find her alive. It's part of his game. Cassidy grabbed my wrist. He was here. Watching. He said your name. He said, you belong to her. Her gaze flicked to Violet, confused, terrified. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I helped Cassidy to the hallway, called backup, and when I turned back, Violet was staring out the window, jaw tight, muscles coiled like a predator on the edge of a hunt. He's not far, she murmured. He wants me to chase him, but not yet. Why not? Because he knows what I'm capable of when I'm angry. Her eyes found mine then, and the storm in them made the air feel electric. I took a step closer. You said you didn't want me to run. I haven't. I know. And I'm not afraid of you anymore. Her breath caught. You should be. But I'm not. My voice was quieter now, the distance between us gone. I should be asking questions. I should be doubting everything. But all I feel when I look at you is this pull I can't explain. She stepped closer, barely a breath away. You think I don't feel it? She said. You think I haven't fought it every second since the moment I saw you? Then stop fighting, I whispered. She reached up, one hand ghosting over my cheek, fingers cold but touch gentle, reverent, like she was memorizing me. You don't know what I am, she said, voice breaking like something in her was unraveling. I don't care. You should. I don't. If I kiss you, she said, there's no undoing it. Then don't undo it. I leaned in before she could protest, but she met me halfway, and the moment our lips touched, the world folded in on itself. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was fire. Raw, starved, desperate. Her mouth was cool but demanding, her hands pulling me closer like she'd waited decades for this moment. I felt the hunger in her, not just blood, but touch, connection, something human she hadn't let herself want in so long. My hands tangled in her coat, pulling her in like I was drowning and she was the air. And when we finally broke apart, breathless, I didn't step back. Neither did she. I shouldn't have done that, she whispered. You really should have, I said. She smiled, a rare, broken thing. Now you're in deeper than you know. Then show me. All of it. I want the truth. She hesitated, then nodded once. Tomorrow. Come to me. No badge. No gun. Just you. Where? I'll find you. I always do. And just like that, she vanished again, leaving me alone in the hallway with the taste of her on my lips and the realization that I didn't want to be saved from her. Not anymore. I didn't bring my gun. I should have. Every instinct in me said to keep it close, to keep the badge tighter, to stay guarded, but I didn't. I wore black, like her, like I thought maybe it would make me feel closer to whatever world she belonged to. I didn't tell the department where I was going. I just left a note on my desk. Back soon. Don't wait up. I wasn't sure who I meant it for. Cassidy was safe. Traumatized, but safe. She'd asked questions I didn't answer. Questions I couldn't. You're in deep with her, she'd said. You don't even see it, do you? But I did. I saw it. I felt it. And I wanted it anyway. Violet found me near the old train station, long abandoned, now half-eaten by rust and vines. She didn't speak at first, only looked at me like I'd made some irreversible choice. You came alone, she said, almost like she didn't expect me to. You asked me to. And you listened. That's starting to scare me, I said. Not because I regret it, but because I don't. She stepped forward, her fingers finding mine, cool and deliberate. There's no turning back now. Then don't hold anything back. Follow me. She led me inside the station, through cracked stone archways and silence, so thick it echoed. Finally, we entered a chamber lit only by candles, thousands of them, their flames dancing like whispers. At the center stood a mirror. Not ordinary. Tall, ancient, framed in iron with symbols carved along the edges. What is this? I asked. A memory, she said. One I buried long ago. She stepped toward the mirror and placed her hand against the glass. It shimmered, then bloomed with light. And suddenly I saw it, not a reflection but a scene. A ballroom.
Candlelight.
Violet, unchanged, dancing in a red gown with a man I recognized immediately. Adrian. But this Adrian looked different, charming, elegant, devoted. The image shifted. The same man, blood on his hands, eyes black with hunger, standing over a torn body. Violet screamed. Fought him. Tried to stop him. He kissed her in the middle of the slaughter. She ran. The mirror went dark. I turned to her, breath unsteady. He changed. No, she said. He always was that. I just refused to see it. And you loved him. I thought I did. Until I met you. I froze. The weight of it, the truth behind it, it shook me. You don't even know me. I know your fire, your defiance, your need to understand, even what terrifies you. I know the way you burn to protect, even when no one protects you. And I know I've never wanted to be human again more than when I'm near you. Her voice trembled. You make me want the impossible. I didn't speak. I only stepped closer, placed my hand over her chest. No heartbeat. And yet something pulsed. What would happen, I whispered, if I kissed you again right now? I might not let you go. Then don't. We kissed again, slower this time, deeper. Her lips still cool, still otherworldly, but the ache behind them was human. So was mine. It felt like surrender. It felt like choosing the storm. Then we heard it. A voice, cold, mocking, echoing through the chamber. Touching.
Truly.
I almost believed she could love again. We broke apart. The candles flickered. And then he was there. Adrian. Tall, beautiful, monstrous. His eyes were the void, and when he smiled, the room seemed to dim. You must be Marina, he said. She told me you were curious. But I didn't expect you to be delicious. I stepped in front of Violet instinctively. He laughed. Oh, protective. I like that. Stay the hell away from her, I said. From both of us. She hasn't told you, has she? He stepped closer. That if she loves you, she'll lose you? That anyone she's ever loved dies. Back off. But I don't want to kill you, Marina, he said, smiling like poison. Not at all. His voice dropped. I want to turn you. I want you to see what she really is. What she's capable of. What she's denied herself. I want you to become her equal. So she can finally be mine again. I lifted my chin. She was never yours. He moved fast, faster than I could react. But Violet was faster. She struck him like lightning, fangs bared, strength unreal. They crashed into the wall, stone cracking under them. I watched, frozen, as ancient power collided with ancient rage. Then Violet screamed, not in pain, but fury. Adrian vanished into smoke, and she fell to her knees. I ran to her, heart thundering. Are you hurt? She shook her head, trembling. He's marked you now, she whispered. He won't stop, until he gets what he wants. And what if what he wants is me? Then I'll tear the world apart to keep you from him. She looked at me, tears in her eyes, real, blood red, shimmering. You still have a choice, Marina. You can walk away. Forget me. Forget all of this. I cupped her face. I'm not walking away.
Not now.
Not ever. Then you need to know what that means. Then show me. She closed her eyes. Tomorrow, I'll take you to where I was born, where he was born, and you'll see the truth of what I am. I'm not afraid. You should be. I'm not. Then meet me at midnight. After that, there's no going back. I never wanted to go back. She kissed me once more, desperate, unspoken promises in her mouth, and disappeared before I could say another word. Alone in the camellit silence, I knew one thing with terrifying clarity. I wasn't chasing the killer anymore. I was chasing her. The road was long and empty, cutting through the woods like a scar. Violet didn't speak as she drove, hands steady on the wheel, eyes fixed ahead. The forest swallowed the light. The further we went, the colder it became. I didn't ask where we were going, I already knew. The place where it all began. Where she lost herself. Where he was made. After almost an hour, the car stopped in front of a crumbling estate swallowed by ivy and silence. No lights. No signs of life. Just history thick in the air like dust you couldn't wipe away. This is where I was born, Violet said, stepping out. Not into life. Into this. She led me through shattered gates and past twisted statues half consumed by nature. Inside, the house was dead.
Cold.
But I felt eyes watching. The kind of presence that didn't need a body to exist. She lit a single torch and led me down into the basement, through hidden doors and stone corridors older than the city itself. This was our sanctuary, she said. Adrian and I. When we first turned. I stopped walking. You mean you were turned together? She nodded. In 1781. We didn't ask for it. We were attacked. Bleeding out. Left for dead. Someone saved us. Or damned us. Depends who you ask. And after that? I thought we'd protect each other. Be something more than monsters. But Adrian, he changed faster. He liked the power. The hunger. And I couldn't keep up. She led me into a chamber lit with dying candles, walls covered in faded writing, names, dates, prayers. What is this? Everyone I couldn't save, she said. Everyone he killed that I was too late to stop. My heart clenched. You carry them all. Every night. She turned to face me, eyes shimmering. You think I'm strong, Marina, but I've been breaking for centuries. Then let me be the thing that doesn't break. She blinked, as if the words were too much. Then she stepped forward, slowly, cautiously, like I might disappear. Her hand reached up to touch my jaw. You have no idea what you're offering. Then show me. She kissed me, slower than before but deeper. Her mouth trembled. This wasn't hunger. This was need. And when she pulled away, she whispered, I'm scared of what you'll see when you see all of me. Then let me look anyway. She brought me to the final room, the heart of the estate. A crypt. Stone coffins line the walls. In the center, a massive seal carved into the floor, pulsing faintly with red light. What is this? I asked. This is what binds us, she said. Every vampire born of this bloodline is tied to this mark. Including Adrian. Including me. So, it's magic? It's older than magic. She knelt beside it, pressing her palm against the stone. The seal pulsed brighter. And then, I saw it. Memories not mine flooded my mind. Violet's transformation, her first kill, her first loss, the centuries of loneliness, of hiding, of burying love after love. And then me, my face, my voice, her memory of our first meeting, her obsession, her fear, her hope. It was overwhelming. When it ended, I collapsed to my knees, breath stolen from my chest. She caught me, held me. You saw it, she whispered. Everything. I nodded. And I'm still here. She looked at me like I was the first dawn she'd seen in lifetimes. But then the seal darkened. The candles blew out, and the air turned colder than death. A voice echoed from the shadows. How touching. You let her in. Adrian stepped from the darkness, clothed in midnight, eyes like frozen ash. I always knew you'd come back here. You're so predictable, Violet. She stood, placing herself in front of me again. You're not welcome here. Neither is your little pet, he hissed. You think turning her'll change anything? You'll still be alone. I'm not turning her, Violet snapped. She chose me. No, Adrian said, gaze sliding to me. She hasn't chosen yet, but she will. In a blur, he was in front of me, crouched low, fingers grazing my chin. I didn't flinch. I didn't give him the fear he wanted. You're brave, he said. That'll make the blood sweeter. Violet grabbed him, threw him back with inhuman force. Stone cracked. Dust rose. If you touch her again, I'll end you. Try, he spat, eyes glowing. You've tried before. The room trembled. The seal beneath us began to pulse again, angrier now, reacting to their power. What is it doing? I asked. It's waking, Violet said. And if it wakes fully, none of us will leave here alive. Adrian vanished into smoke again, but his laughter echoed long after he was gone. Violet turned to me, breathing hard. We have to leave. Now. You said the seal binds you. What happens if it breaks? Her voice was low. Final. Then so do I. We didn't look back as we ran. The forest seemed darker than before, like it knew what we had done, like the ground itself remembered the blood spilled centuries ago. Violet was breathing harder than usual, her steps less certain. It wasn't just the seal, it was Adrian. I could see it in her face. She was unraveling. The car was still there when we reached the road, but her hands trembled on the steering wheel. You're not healing, I said. She shook her head, jaw clenched. He touched the seal. It drains me. I can't stay near it long. Then we don't go back, I said. Not until we end this. She looked at me like she wanted to believe that was possible. But something flickered in her eyes, doubt. Or fear. We drove in silence until we reached the city limits. The moment we crossed into the old quarter, she stopped the car. We're not alone. I stepped out first, hand instinctively reaching for the badge I'd left behind. The air was too still. Then they emerged, 3 figures in cloaks, eyes glowing faint gold. Vampires. But not like Violet. Colder. Formal. Detached. Violet Noir, one of them said. You've broken the pact. The seal was not to be touched. I didn't break it, she said. Adrian did. You brought a human there, the second figure hissed. You showed her our history, our power. She has the right to know. She is not one of us. Not yet, Violet said quietly. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. If you want to punish someone, I said, start with the one who's actually killing your kind. This doesn't concern you, mortal, the third said. You are a mistake. She's mine, Violet said sharply, stepping between us. Touch her, and I'll tear your throats out. That changed everything. A flicker of tension. Of fear. One of them turned to me. You don't know what she is. What she's done. I don't care, I said. I've seen her. All of her. And I'm still here. The lead vampire stepped forward. Then you'll both stand trial. Tonight. Before we could argue, the world blurred again, Violet's hand clutching mine, the city melting into darkness, and when we stopped moving, we were no longer in the city. We were in a chamber beneath the earth. Stone walls. Ancient carvings. Eyes watching from the shadows. The Vampire Council. They surrounded us, silent as statues, judging without words. Violet stood tall, but I felt the strain in her. Felt how close she was to breaking. State your defense, one of them said. Adrian broke the seal, she said. He wants to use Marina to rebuild the bloodline, to twist her, turn her, control her. I was trying to stop him. You disobeyed the laws. You revealed yourself to a mortal. You forged a bond. I fell in love, she said. Silence. Cold. Crushing. Then you are already lost, someone whispered. She should not exist, another said. She is a threat to the Veil. To our kind. She's a detective, Violet growled. She could have exposed us to the world. But she didn't. She protected me. All eyes turned to me. Is this true? Yes, I said. I had every chance to bring this to the department. I didn't. Because Violet is not the monster here. Adrian is. Murmurs. Unease. One voice rose. Would you die for her? Yes, I said without hesitation. Violet turned to me, eyes wide. Would you become one of us? I looked at her, looked into her. If it meant protecting her, yes. The room exploded with noise, arguing, shouting, disbelief. Silence, the lead council member shouted. Then let it be done. If you survive the hunt, you may keep your lives. What hunt? I asked. We give you 1 night. You run. Adrian will come. If you defeat him, we will grant your bond. And if we don't, then you both die. They vanished. All of them, leaving us alone again. Violet exhaled like it hurt. They gave us a chance, she said. That's not a chance. That's a death sentence. Not if we stay ahead of him. And if we can't. She looked at me, eyes filled with centuries of pain and something new, hope. Then at least we die together. I pulled her in, held her tight. We're not dying. We're finishing this. She kissed me like it might be the last time. I kissed her like I wouldn't let it be. Somewhere in the distance, the sky cracked open. Thunder roared. And I knew Adrian had felt it too. The hunt had begun. We didn't run because we were afraid. We ran because time was no longer ours. The moment we left the council chamber, the sky above the city cracked open, thunder rolling like a war drum in the distance. Violet's hand gripped mine, colder than before, tighter. We were being watched, hunted. Every shadow felt alive. Every rooftop carried a whisper. Where do we go? I asked. Someplace with steel. Sunlight traps. Anything we can use. You mean like a police station? She looked at me and smiled despite the storm in her eyes. Exactly like a police station. We made our way through the underground tunnels beneath the old city, emerging blocks from the precinct. I knew the building better than anyone. It had blind spots, backup generators, UV floodlights, and evidence lockup. I also knew it would be the last place Adrian expected us to go. Once inside, we barricaded the doors, reinforced the windows, set traps that would slow but not stop him. We'll have 1 shot, I said. He's stronger, smarter, older. But he's arrogant, Violet added. And that's what kills monsters like him. The silence between us wasn't empty. It was loaded. With fear. With want. With all the things we hadn't said because we didn't know if we'd have the time. You're shaking, she said, brushing hair from my face. I'm human. We do that when we're in love and about to die. Her expression softened, and her hands moved to my waist, pulling me closer. Then let me tell you now, she whispered. If I die tonight, it'll be with your name in my mouth and your soul in my hands. You're not dying, I said. I won't let you. And what if I can't hold him back? Then I'll kill him myself. She laughed once, dry and sharp. You're fearless. No, I whispered, leaning in. I'm just done losing you. We kissed again, deeper than any before. It wasn't soft. It wasn't sweet. It was everything we were, broken, burning, desperate, and unbreakable. Her body pressed into mine like she was trying to memorize me. I didn't stop her. I didn't want her to. Then the lights flickered. He's here, Violet said, voice suddenly cold. We moved fast. She took the north hallway, I took the west. The cameras began to go static one by one. I could hear the faint sound of footsteps, wrong. Too light, too deliberate. And then I saw him. Adrian stepped from the shadows like a god in decay. His smile was cruel. How touching, he said. You've made this your battlefield. You're not leaving here, I said. You sound so sure, he said, circling me slowly. Do you know what I've seen, little detective? I've watched empires burn, watched gods die. And you think you can stop me with locks and lights? No, I said, flipping the UV switch on the panel behind me. But I can slow you down. The floodlights exploded to life. Adrian screamed, his skin blistering under the rays, stumbling back. I ran, drawing him into the trap Violet set in the lower level. I could hear her chanting something in a language I didn't recognize, ancient and sharp. Sigils lit along the floor. Adrian fell into the center of the room, and the trap sealed. He roared, slamming against invisible walls. Violet stepped forward, hands glowing faintly with blood magic. "It's over," she said. "You've lost." "No," Adrian growled. "You've just delayed the inevitable." He looked at me then, and his voice changed. "You feel it, don't you? The pull? The hunger starting to bloom in your blood?" My body froze. "What is he talking about?" I asked. Violet didn't answer. Adrian smiled wider. "She marked you. That kiss, that bond. It's not just emotional. It's alchemical. You're starting to change little by little. Not turned, but touched." I turned to Violet. "Is it true?" "I didn't mean to," she said, voice trembling. "But yes, you're connected to me now. Every heartbeat pulls you closer." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was afraid you'd leave." I stepped toward her. "I told you, I'm not going anywhere." Adrian laughed. "Then you've already lost." With a sudden burst of power, he shattered the trap, sending Violet flying. I ran to her, but she was dazed, blood running from her temple. Adrian moved toward me slowly, savoring every second. "She made you like this," he said. "And now I'll finish it.
Turn you.
Make you mine. And she'll watch." "No," I said, stepping back, heart racing. "You're not touching me." "Then kill me," he said. "If you can." I reached for the stake Violet had hidden beneath the floorboard. He lunged, and then I drove it into his chest. Not his heart. Not yet. Just deep enough to make him fall. Violet rose behind him, fangs bared, eyes burning with rage and love. "You will never have her," she whispered. And then she struck. Her bite was merciless, primal, centuries of betrayal unleashed in one final act. Adrian screamed, and the world shook around us. I didn't look away. I watched him die. And I didn't feel fear. I felt freedom. When it was over, Violet collapsed. I caught her before she hit the ground.
"It's done," I said.
"He's gone." She looked up at me, pain in every breath. "Not yet. There's one more choice left." "What choice?" Her fingers grazed my cheek. "You're changing, Marina." "Not fully. Not yet. But if you want to stay with me forever, I can complete it. Or I can stop it. Right now." My heart stopped. Not from fear, but from knowing I already had the answer. I held her close, lips to her forehead. "We make the choice together." She closed her eyes. "Then we wait until dawn. If you still want it by then, I'll give you everything." The night was far from over, but we had survived the first end. And now came the real beginning. The sky was beginning to pale, that strange hour between night and morning where everything feels suspended, like time itself is holding its breath. We were still in the ruins of the precinct, broken glass scattered like fallen stars across the floor, the air thick with silence. Violet sat on the edge of an overturned desk, her back against the wall, legs pulled up, eyes fixed on me as if she expected me to vanish if she blinked. Her face was pale, even paler than usual, blood loss and strain etched in the shadows under her eyes. I knelt in front of her, took her hands in mine, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. The world had stopped spinning. We were alone in it. "How long do we have?" I asked quietly. "Until the sun rises," she said. "A few hours. And then, if you choose to stay as you are, your body will fight the bond. Eventually, it will break you. Slowly. Painfully. And if I choose to be turned, you'll never age, never sleep, never be warm again. But you'll have me. Forever." I looked down, heart aching and still. "That's not a punishment. It's not a gift either," she said. "It's a kind of mourning you carry with you. Even in love. Especially in love." "Then why do you want me to choose it?" "Because I can't lose you." Her voice cracked. "I've watched too many lifetimes fade. I've buried too many names. But you pulled me out of the dark. You made me want again. Feel again. If I lose you, you won't, I said, cupping her face. You won't lose me.
Not now.
Not ever. Her lips trembled, her eyes burning with something older than sorrow. You're sure? Yes, I whispered. I choose you. I choose this. All of it. She exhaled like she'd been holding that breath for 100 years. Then she kissed me, gently this time, like a thank you, like a promise. Her hands cradled my face as if I were fragile, mortal, seconds away from slipping through her fingers. It'll hurt, she warned. Then stay with me, I said. Through all of it. She nodded. Lie back. I did. My heart pounded in my chest, adrenaline mixing with something deeper.
Want. Trust. Peace.
She hovered above me, her body braced on either side of mine, and when she leaned down, her lips grazed my neck like a prayer. You're sure? She asked again. Yes. Then close your eyes. I did. And then came the bite. It wasn't pain. It was fire and light, and the shattering of something sacred. Her fangs slid into my skin like silk laced with lightning. I gasped, body arching, vision going white. I could feel her, every heartbeat, every thought, every piece of her memory flowing into mine like a river of time. She didn't just take my blood. She gave me hers. We became one, bound by something deeper than flesh. When it ended, I was shaking, eyes wide, breath caught somewhere between life and something beyond. Violet pulled back, her mouth bloodied, her eyes wild with fear and love. Marina? I opened my eyes. They burned, but I smiled. I'm still here. She laughed through a choked sob, pulling me into her arms. You did it. We did it. But the moment was shattered by the sound of footsteps. The council. They appeared without warning, cloaks sweeping, eyes gleaming. You turned her, the lead vampire said. Without permission. She chose it, Violet said, standing in front of me. She made the choice. We warned you. A human changed outside the ritual is considered a threat to the balance. She is not a threat. She's our future. Then she'll prove it. The floor opened beneath us again, not physically, but with power, darkness coiling at our feet. A final trial. What is this? I asked. Your judgment, the vampire said. You either belong to us, or you die by our hand. Violet growled, her body tense. She just turned. She's not ready. Then you'll fight for her, they said. Or you'll both fall. I stepped forward.
No, I said.
She doesn't fight this time. I do. You don't even know what you are, the vampire hissed. Then let me show you. Power stirred in me. Faint, but real. My blood, her blood, was awakening. I could feel it in my limbs, my vision, the way the room slowed around me. I wasn't just human anymore. I wasn't prey. I was something new, something dangerous, something of my own making. The trial would come. I would face it, but not for their acceptance, not for permission. I would fight for love, for the woman who burned for centuries without hope, for the chance to be the reason she never had to burn alone again. The sun was rising outside, but inside, in me, a new night had just begun. The trial didn't wait for me to understand what I had become. There was no time for reflection, no moment of peace. As the council encircled us in that cold, stone chamber, the air shimmered with ancient power, judgment woven into every breath. Violet stood behind me, her hand on my back, but this time I stepped forward alone. The transformation had lit something inside me, a fire not born of sunlight but of choice, of defiance, of love. My senses were sharper, my heartbeat slower, but my conviction louder than ever. You say I'm a threat, I said, voice steady. But the real threat died in this very building. Adrian used your laws as weapons. He twisted your silence into permission. I won't do the same. You were turned without our consent, one of them growled. That alone is punishable by death. Then try, I said. Try to kill me. See what happens. Power surged from me, wild, raw, unfamiliar but fierce. Violet's blood in my veins pulsed like a promise. The lead council member stepped down, eyes narrowed. Very well. If you survive the challenge, you are one of us. If you fail, no one will mourn the mortal who wanted to be more. The floor shifted beneath us, revealing a dark pit below. I jumped in before hesitation could find me. The chamber was a circle of stone and shadow, and across from me, something moved, something summoned. A creature of blood and hunger, born of the old world, blind but deadly. A trial beast. It senses weakness. Violet called down. Don't show it any. But I wasn't afraid. I was lit from the inside with the memory of her kiss, her bite, her hands trembling as she gave me eternity. The beast lunged, jaws wide. I moved faster. Not with grace, but with fury. I ducked under its claws, struck it hard in the ribs. It screamed, a sound that shook the stone. It came again. I let it. At the last second, I dropped to the ground, sliding beneath it, slicing across its belly with a silver blade I'd hidden in my boot. It roared,
Staggered.
bled black onto the floor. I stood tall. You want proof? I shouted. Here I am. The beast lunged again, but this time I didn't move. I waited, calm, heart still, focused. And just before it reached me, I raised my hand. My blood answered. The same sigils Violet had used now burned on my skin. The beast froze midair, caught in a web of invisible force. You think I'm a mistake, I said. But I'm evolution. With one final cry, the creature vanished, consumed by the seal. The council stood silent.
Shocked.
Defeated. Violet dropped into the chamber beside me, eyes wide. How did you do that? I don't know, I said. I just knew I could. She smiled, then wrapped her arms around me and kissed me like the end of the world had already happened, and we'd survived it. What now?
I asked.
Now they either accept us, she said, turning to face the council, or they fall behind. One by one, the council bowed. Not to Violet.
Not to me. To us.
When we returned to the city, dawn was rising. I felt it against my skin like a ghost, something I could no longer touch, but still longed for. Do you miss it? I asked her. The sun. She looked at me, brushing hair from my face.
No.
I have you now. We rebuilt slowly. The precinct stayed abandoned, a relic of war. But we made a home, underground in the quiet between the shadows. Together. We hunted only when we had to. We kept the peace. We watched the city from the rooftops like guardians no one saw coming. Sometimes, at night, I'd ask her what century she missed the most. She always said, this one, because it's the one where I found you. And sometimes, when the moon was full and the city quiet, I'd let her bite me again. Not to feed, just to feel that connection, that pulse of everything we were and everything we'd become.
Partners.
Lovers. Immortals. Protectors. The girl who hunted monsters and the monster who taught her how to love. Thank you so much for being here and for believing in this channel. If you feel in your heart, you can donate with super thanks so I can focus more and more on this project. Your support helps me keep creating these love stories and bringing them to life for you. See you in the next video.